Hi, welcome to What's That Origin, where we will be discussing the origin stories of characters or ideas from movies, shows, and books. And if you find yourself liking these videos, then please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share links to your social medias. Let's get started. Hi, welcome to What's That Origin, and today we were going to be talking about Virginia Dare. The Virginia Dare I'm going to be talking about, or where I got her from, was the book series The Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel, and it's by Michael Scott, and I think it's a series of 6. She is kind of an antagonist who uses a flute as a weapon. If you are from the Harry Potter generation, like how I am, and it's definitely got some of those elements that I think a lot of people would really like. So Virginia Dare, I'm not going to go too much into the story because I don't want to spoil the story. I'm still working on the series myself. Like I said, she uses a flute as a weapon, being able to like hypnotize. Becomes a more prominent character. She doesn't start off as a prominent character in the first couple of books, but then I think third book in is when she comes in. And like I said, I personally really like her character, and I do really recommend these books because they're, if you do happen to like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter or books within that genre, it's definitely something that you would like to read. So as for the origins of Virginia Dare, it's kind of interesting to think about because Virginia Dare's origin starts and ends as she's an infant. In the book, she's a grown woman, and in a lot of things that she's portrayed in, she's a grown woman, such as she's been used for branding, like for wines, vanilla extracts, put onto coins, and like commemorative coins. Her story begins with her family coming over to the Americas during the Elizabethan era, and she is the first American-born child to come, she's the first ever to be born in America, and it's one of the biggest mysteries of American folklore. The colony was called Roanoke Island, or colony, and they set up, and she was born along with another child, and not much is really known about her as in her, or really much about anyone that lived in that colony. Like I said, she was the firstborn, so that's what makes her really important. But also, the biggest draw to her is her mystery, which begins with her grandfather, John White, who was the governor of Roanoke Island, and the colony wasn't doing so great on supplies, and they you come to a new world. Back then, it was hard for people to figure out how to farm and hunt and learn agriculture, and without the help of Native Americans, which some colonies were fortunate enough to be able to do, others weren't so lucky. So the governor, John White, decides that he's going to return back to England to try to get fresh supplies, and manpower to try to make this colony work. So he goes back to England, but it's during the time of the war between Spain and England, when Queen Elizabeth I is on the throne, and during the time of the Spanish Armada. So he wasn't able to return back to the Americas for 3 years because of the high demand for ships during the war. So the strangest thing that happened was when he came back, the whole colony, buildings, everything was gone. It was as if it never had existed. And like I said, he came back 3 years later. Anything could have happened within the 3 years. Native Americans could have attacked. They could have looked towards the Native Americans for shelter, or they could have just moved. And no one to this day, hundreds of years later, know exactly what happened. So when he gets back there and he sees that his daughter, his granddaughter, who was Virginia Dare, are gone, everyone's just gone, he tries to look for evidence of where they may have gone or what had may have happened. He had instructed the colonists before he had left that if they were to be taken by force, to carve a Maltese cross into one of the trees. That way he would know that their fate was bad. However, that did not happen. They did not find any Maltese crosses anywhere. Instead, he found the word Croatoan, I probably am saying this wrong, carved into one of the trees, and he took that as a sign as maybe the colony had moved to Croatoan Island. Croatoan Island is now known as Hatteras Island, and that is the most common theory of where they had gone. And for some reason, I haven't read why he couldn't go search for them, but supposedly he wasn't able to go search for them and he went back to England. And then about 17 years later, we get John Smith, that John Smith from Pocahontas. He makes his way to Virginia to set up the colony for Jamestown, and he's given kind of like a side mission to see what happened to the colonists of Roanoke. And when he met with the chief Powhatan, and this is where I'm not quite sure, there's a lot of theories on what could have happened, and I don't know. But anyway, so he had talked to Chief Powhatan of the Powhatan tribe, and had asked him what had happened, or if he had known what had happened to this colony. According to his report, Powhatan had believed that they had been taken in by a Cherokee tribe. But then he went on to say that the Cherokee tribe was one of the tribes that the Powhatan tribe had attacked. And I'm not quite sure how true that is, because when you look into history, Powhatan was actually a very influential figure on the New England coast. He actually had control over hundreds of tribes going all the way up to Maine. So I'm not quite sure how true that part is. He literally had hundreds of tribes under his command. But anyway, so that is what John Smith's records had said, but there has been no historical evidence that colonists had been taken in by that particular tribe. It is highly speculated that they did get taken in by a tribe, or they were taken in by a tribe, and like Powhatan said, the tribe was attacked and they were killed. Or most colonists were killed, is what Powhatan had said. So that leaves still the mystery open of what happened to Virginia, her family, and the whole colony. No one knows. There has been findings in recent years of colonist pottery some few miles away from Jamestown, where the colony of Jamestown was, and they believe that could have been linked to the Roanoke colonists, but people are still speculative. They're optimistic that it could be it, but at the same time, they're just not quite sure. But I will be putting links down below where I had read some of this stuff. So you can go ahead and speculate with me on what may have happened to these people. It was just over 100 people in the colony, and between men, women, and children. And there weren't very many women in the colony compared to the men, which I found kind of interesting because you think that you'd want more women to populate, but so yeah, let me know what you might think may have happened to this lost colony. And like I said, so the most interesting thing to take away from the colony is how famous Virginia became, even though Virginia never really had a story. She was born. That was it. That's her whole story, is that she was born and then she disappeared along with her entire colony. So I kind of do find it interesting in how this one infant has become such a symbol, especially when she is depicted, she is either depicted as a small child or a fully grown woman, which I do find very fascinating, that people have not personified, but have evolved her into this type of character. And this book series isn't the only one that has used Virginia Dare for inspiration. There have been others, and in The Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel, they also use her as an adult. And some series have used the Roanoke mystery as inspiration, like it's not old, but when they still had Sleepy Hollow, the show, they did an episode looking for the colony and what may have happened. Although their theory was very interesting, was that the colonists were sick, but also, yeah, they were ghosts, something like that. It was a good episode. But no, in the Sleepy Hollow episode, it was interesting because they thought that they could have been sick and maybe the colony was wiped out that way. But that still wouldn't make up for why their houses were dismantled, as if they were never there. So yeah, that's a huge mystery. So yeah, let me know what you think down below. If you think maybe they really did move to this island. There hasn't been much evidence on the island found that the colony had existed there. Or if you think maybe they did integrate with a Native American tribe and were lost during maybe a battle between tribes. Yeah, let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, share this with your friends, and let me know what you might like to hear for an origin story for a character that you might like, and I'll do the research on it. All right, bye.